Oh, right. Sorry. Welcome to show 5, guys, of the RC Helicopter Show. This is Rotors. On the last episode of Rotors, we're really pleased to welcome Bert Camera to talk to us about the latest releases from SAB and, of course, his latest venture, Spartan USA. We also welcomed Angelos Gneiss from Spartan, who gave away a really cool Spartan Vortex V3 to one of our very lucky viewers, Mark Graves. So well done, Mark. We also had a great time with Dave Fisher from AlignTrex.co.uk. We had Stu Smith, who recently won, of course. Well done to Stu for winning the Pro Class at Helifest at the weekend at Weston Park, may I say, using a T-Rex 700 DFC HV. Well done, Stu. And we also talked a lot about Bobby Watts, with Bert Camera, about Bobby Watts' new Invertix, and we had a great bite-sized show with Bobby to talk about the Invertix 400. We actually did our first 20-minute size bite-size, which really went down very well and got a lot of sort of positive comments. So we'll be doing more of that in the future with some real special guests. So, friends, here we go. This is show 5. Tonight's show, we're really pleased to welcome 3 very special guests onto the panel tonight. First up, 16-year-old Connor Sloan is one of the latest members to join the factory-sponsored team of Align, plus Jeff Fassbinder. Jeff's the marketing manager and sort of kingpin, basically, of Align USA. And finally, 4 times winner of XFC, 3 times winner of Zone Format in the UK, we have Jamie Robertson. So we've got a great bunch of people on the show tonight. We'll be discussing their products, the electronics, their history, their background, how they got into flying, the tips and techniques they're going to hopefully share with you guys tonight as well. So that's basically a little bit about who we've got on the show. So first up, let's say a quick hello to my fellow presenters, shall we say. Have we got Kev? Kev on your line. Are you there, my friend?
I'm here, Nick. How are you?
Kev, it's been a very busy weekend especially. How's things been for you?
I've been the same. I've been the same. Just work. I just can't get away. It's just my work's quite seasonal. So come summer, I'm just running around like the proverbial blue horse fly sort of thing. So yeah, I haven't got time to scratch my backside at the minute. But no, I'm still getting some flying in. The review's coming on quite well for the Goblin 570. Man, that thing rocks. I tell you. It's going up in my favourite list at the minute, so it's really good.
I'd imagine your favourite list will be quite long because you do have quite a fleet of Goblin helicopters now, don't you, Kev?
I've only got 4. I've only got 4. Only 4. Yeah, but no. Yeah, that the review for that's coming on quite well. I'm making arrangements to go down and do a bit of flying with Aid so we can get the video part of the review done. That'll come in like middle of July, something like that. Got another couple of products in the pipeline for review, so yeah, busy.
Super stuff. Well, we'll talk to Kev a little bit more later on when the show progresses. Kev will be talking to us about the news, which will be coming up very shortly. So thanks, Kev. We'll come to you very quickly. So let's talk to Adrian Chapman Law. Are you there?
Hi, dude. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm tired, but I'm all right. What a weekend, man. It's just been crazy.
Yeah, it's been a bit nuts, hasn't it, recently? There's been a lot going on.
So what have you been doing?
I've been doing a bit of flying. As you can see, got my X5 in the background, and I've even got a bit of slope soaring done. And obviously there was the review of the X Nova Moto, which was quite entertaining to do. It's just freaking mental, that motor. It really is. Absolutely.
Tell us a bit about that motor then. I mean, I've heard very good things about it, but it's not really available as yet in the UK, is it?
They're French, I believe, and so you can buy them from Europe, but it's about 400 watts and a little bit more kV than the stock Gowie Scorpion motor. So it's a fair bit more grunt, and it's just mental, absolutely mental.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit more about that a little later. I also want to talk to you about your little videos that you did. The linkage ones, was it? What was the other one?
Yeah, there was a linkage one, and there was a small tale about making sure your battery connectors are soldered properly, and you keep an eye on them to make sure they're staying.
Okay, we'll talk about that as well. So let's move on to our special guests. First up, do we have Connor Sloan? Connor, are you there? Can you unmute yourself and then say hello to the world?
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Connor Sloan. How are you today, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you, Nick?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Really pleased to have you on the show. I know this is the first thing you've done anything like this, especially with us at Rotor. So I know you're maybe a little bit nervous. Everybody is a little bit, but we're just kind of just chill out and relax and enjoy it, mate. It's just us. It's just us lot. Nobody else. Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, we're going to talk to you about your career so far, which I'm sure it's come to a real pinnacle for you at the moment, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, definitely.
And you're a happy bunny. Of course, you got your sponsorship, your factory sponsorship last year when you won the Inters, wasn't it? At the Align Fun Fly in Taiwan. That must have been a real win for you. A challenge, but a win, I guess.
It was. It was definitely exciting. It was tough competition, but yeah, I proved my best, and here I am now.
Fantastic, mate. Well, there you go. It's hard work and dedication. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Great stuff, Connor. We'll come back to you very, very shortly. Let's have a quick chat with Mr. Smiler himself. Jeff Fassbinder, are you there, sir?
Hello, Nick. Hi.
Hello, mate. Jeff, it's again, I say this to all our guests, and we really do sincerely mean it. I know you guys are extremely busy. What time of the day is it for you right now, Jeff?
It's midday. It's about 1 o'clock here in California.
California, IA. Jeff is a very, very busy man. Of course, just come back from XFC with the Align boys. Just a quick summary, Jeff. What does that event mean to you guys?
Well, it personifies competition here in the States because it's basically the only competition we actually have in the USA. So it's pretty important for us. It gives us an opportunity to show not only our pilots but also our product to the US market.
And you've been involved in Align for quite a bit of time now, haven't you?
I've been here about a little over 4 years now at Align.
And have you seen many pilots sort of come and go, or is the stable of pilots pretty much unchanged during that time?
I'd say the majority of pilots has stayed, but there were changes when I came aboard. People knew me to be very indicative of a brand and trying to personify the brand I represent. And so for team guys and things like that, that meant we have to hold the line, if you will, of the brand we represent. So, fantastic. But aside from that, it's been going very well.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Well, what's your kind of background, Jeff? Well, he's always smiling. We love Jeff. He's absolutely great chap. Great chap. What? I'm sure everybody has heard of you, and especially in the UK. I mean, we get to see a lot of the action and the movers and shakers across the pond in the US. But for those people who are watching who perhaps not familiar with your name so much, what do you do at Align?
For Align, I do marketing, advertising, if you will, team management here in the USA. So we're always out there looking at pilots, personalities. We want to continue to develop, involve our team, and make sure that, again, that we recognize the brand and try and promote the brand, continually looking to find ways to effectively promote Align.
I think it's fair to say that Align, since 2004, when they bought out, I think it was 2003/4 when they bought out the first prototype of the 450, they've pretty much been market leaders ever since, haven't they? In one sector of the market, it's the value sector, isn't it?
Yes, I mean 450. I had the unique opportunity of being present at a fun fly. And Align was actually a vendor at this particular fun fly in Taiwan, and so I was able to see, prior to the release of that 450, this new wave that, unfortunately, at the time, my peers did feel that was going to be something that was going to, invade the market, if you will, and it did. The 450, when I first saw it, I knew that was going to be one of the hottest products, if not the hottest product, and I can say I'm here today because of that product.
Fantastic. How many kind of how many versions have been out of the 450? I mean, is there any way you can kind of remember? Is it sort of about 15, 20 or something like that? Would that be fair?
At least that, from going back from the first 450 to the SA type models to the Sport to the Pros. There's been various SE, so on and so forth. So there's been many versions of that when we were in the flybar aspect of it, and now with the flybar list from the EFL type, the Pro, and now with our DFC type models today.
Thanks for that quick rundown, Jeff. We will definitely come back to you and pick your brains with more stuff. Thank you, Jeff, for the timing. Jeff Fassbinder, team manager of USA Align USA. We're going to move on now to another gentleman. He's a good friend of mine. Known him for a few years now. We've worked a lot together, haven't we? And he's a real smashing guy. We're really pleased to welcome Jamie Robertson. Are you there, my friend?
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Mate, it's a real pleasure for us to have you on the show, as is all of our guests. We know you're busy. We know you've got a lot of things going on, and to spare the time to come on the Rotors, the RC Helicopter Show, really means a lot to us. Thanks.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Fantastic. Jamie, we're just going to quickly, very briefly, we'll talk to yourself and just kind of give a bit of a brief history and stuff. We'll just sort of share a couple of minutes on this, and then what we're going to do, we're going to get to the news, guys, and then we're going to come back to have a real good dialogue with these guys. All right, but I think I speak for everybody on the panel. Jamie, massive congratulations for your recent win at the weekend at XFC. Can you believe 4 times the winner at XFC? Yeah.
Thank you. It was tough competition, but at the end of the day, I was able to get it done.
What is it about your style? You think is it your practice routine? Is it your mindset? Is it your how do you manage to win so much?
Well, I think it's a combination of all of the above. Over the years, I've kind of learned what works and what doesn't, and for the different competitions, what kind of like the style that the judges like to see. For example, XFC isn't going to be the exact same as Masters. So you do have to kind of fit your style towards whatever you're trying to achieve. And, come competition day, you have to be ready to go and in the right frame of mind. So,
I mean, I think a lot of people do see Jamie Robertson sort of walking around with the headphones on, completely in the zone, so to speak. And sometimes people find it quite difficult to kind of get a moment of your time. Are you aware of that, or are you just completely zoned out?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, but I think, especially around the U.S., with as many fun flies as we hit, people know that I'm social and I'm willing to help anyone. But when it comes to contest time, I get down to business.
Fair enough. Just remind us how old you are now, Jamie.
I'm 20. I'll be 21 in October.
21 in October.
Yep.
Wow. An old head on young shoulders. Fantastic, mate. We'll come back to you very, very shortly. Thanks for your time for the moment.
Sounds good.
Right, we just got a quick question. Huge congratulations to Jamie, local Oklahoma boy. XFC win. Very excited to hear. Nick will be entertaining us at Urcha this year. That's from Ryan Witchy. Do you know Ryan?
Yeah, I know Ryan. He's an Oklahoma boy. Known him for a long time. Yep.
He wishes his best. He wishes his best. So yeah, we're going to talk to. By the way, guys, as well, if you, as always, on Rotors, the RC Helicopter Show, this is an open forum. We want you to get involved. We want you to ask these guys questions. Okay, we can't promise to read everybody's question out. We'll do our very, very best. We do experience very high volumes of questions coming through, so please bear with us. Okay, we've got to say. I know I've had a couple of hellos that I've got to say, and I've been told I've got to say them by these people. Hi to James McKenzie. He's the winner of the Inters at the weekend at Helifest Western Park. Hi to James. Well done, mate. Congratulations on your win. A true superstar in the making, if I may add. He's got some beers in the fridge. He's chilling, and he can't wait to watch Rotor. So thanks very much for tuning in. Also, hi to Neil Gennard, Ant Hall, and Mickey Bling. They're from Penn Models in the West Midlands. They're heading off to 3D Island. So good luck to you, fellas. So remember, if you want to send us a message and get in touch with us and ask one of these guys a question, please do. Just go to the Q&A app, and we'll get the questions. Simple as that, really. So yeah, we're going to chat now to, very briefly, thank you Thank you very much, Jamie. Thank you also to Jeff. Hang fire there. We're going to be spending a lot of time talking to you over the next hour, hour and a half. Okay. So the last show, of course, show 5 was quite. Show 4 was quite a lengthy one. We filled it with over 2 hours, and we could have done 3 or 4 hours. Seriously, it was that much to talk about. We're going to try and condense this show into about 1.5 hours. So we're going to talk about the news now. So there's lots going on. It's the height of the season. We've got so many events and competitions coming up, and we're really pumped and really excited about it. But we've got lots of really interesting products as well. So let's go over and speak to Kev, please. Kev, are you there?
I'm here, buddy. Right. Yeah, news. Couple of new models come out recently. You've probably seen it plastered all over Facebook and all over our site. One thing I'm trying to do at the minute, I'm just trying to keep on top of all the new models coming out, because it does seem to be silly season at the minute. They're all coming out every 2 minutes. But I've condensed it down. I'm just going to concentrate on 2 for this month. Okay. So first up, the Saab Urukai, or RUOK, or however you say it.
It's the Urukai.
Urukai. Oh yes, you were speaking to Stefano and Nico about that, weren't you? About how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Italians, it's Urukai, and it's like, well, in England, it's just like, you okay?
You're okay.
You're okay, kid.
But yeah, anyway, yeah. So Saab Urukai, basically, it's a F3 ship, kind of like the old Robos and Kyoshos for the pattern flyers amongst us. They released that over at the Radio Model Show in Ozano in Italy. Not the weekend just gone, the weekend before, if I remember correctly. What they're saying is it's a dedicated F3 machine, F3C machine, and it comes with options of a 2 or 3 blade head and a 2 or 3 bladed tail setup. Completely new canopy and boom design, as you've probably seen from our pictures. The swash plate is all new. The main gears are all new. The tail mechanism's all new. What else? The chassis and the skid design, they've completely changed them. I mean, as you know, I've got a few Goblins, so I was having a good look at the chassis rails and everything. Completely different. It's still got the mother plate where everything bolts to the mother plate, but the chassis and everything just looks completely different. It's a completely new model. As to what the component sharing is between the others, I'm not 100% certain at the minute.
Fully compatible, mate. Fully compatible.
Is it fully compatible? Okay, that's cool. And they've also changed the gear ratios to aid auto rotations, which would be good news for me because I can't auto my Goblins for shit. Okay.
Family show.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, you guys must have seen this Urukai about at the shows and everything. What do you think of it? Connor, I mean, have you seen Urukai? What are your thoughts?
Well, Connor saw it the weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw it at the weekend.
Yeah, okay. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, obviously you know what you like from helicopters and stuff like that. I mean, what's the Connor Sloan take on it?
It's quite a big machine. It does look very stable, and especially with the 3-bladed head, definitely, yeah. And especially how Bert was flying it.
Cool.
It's a very sexy looking helicopter. The lines, the symmetry, and the geometry of the tail boom, when with the canopy off, it looks odd, if I'm honest. But the lines where the canopy's on, obviously with F3C and FY8, it's got to have that symmetry, hasn't it? So it's very clever. It's a market that they haven't kind of expanded into. They've pretty much kind of cornered or touched every aspect of the size spectrum for helicopters. So this is really, I guess, just another, revenue stream for them, I guess. But there's a lot of people out there who want those sort of pattern ships. Let's have a quick question, please, or involvement from Aid.
Yeah, there's this. If you notice, there's a little bit of a trend towards the whole 3-blade thing at the moment. I'm intrigued to see where this is going, because from what I've seen of Nick Maxwell flying the Raptor with a 3-blade head on it, and Dave Fisher last year, I think it was flying a 3-blade head,
Yeah.
and it's got some very, very interesting sort of dynamic changes to the way the model flies and dynamics of it all. And I'd be interested to see if this becomes the next sort of fad. You know, we've had sort of the direct linkage thing going on for a little while now, and you know, we're due a new one. I think I'm really thinking.
I'm not sure. I'm
yeah,
not sure.
new innovation.
I'm not sure, guys, and I'll tell you why. Because the thing is, with a 3-bladed head, you've got the extra cost. You know, if you prang it, that's it. 2 blades gone. You know, 3 blades gone. There's a lot of money tied up in that. Okay, you get better efficiency from the head. It's quieter. The Goblin doesn't sound like a Goblin with the 3-bladed head. And to me, half of the appeal and the romance, for put up a better word, is the sound of the Goblin. It's got its own unique rasp, hasn't it? Its own unique roar.
Yeah.
It looks, if I'm honest, it looks odd.
Yeah, I'll go with that. On the 700, it does look a little bit odd because Bert was giving a 3D demonstration with a 700 with a 3-bladed head. I can see where people are going with the efficiency. You don't need to have the rotor speed up at 2300 to get the same pop out of the blades. So your batteries are going to last longer. You're going to get longer flight times. You're not going to cook your batteries like you would do before. I can sort of see where they're going there, but yes, you're right. It does look a little bit odd, but it's one of them. I look odd myself, so I'll be getting one.
I guess it's all about what you want, isn't it? And we're not used to seeing a Goblin with a 3-bladed head, and maybe that'll become the norm, and you know that'll be fine. But I think it's just pandering to a market that have requested it. I don't think it's going to be a massive seller, but of course they like to kind of put their finger into all different sort of pies, and obviously as a business they want to try and capitalize upon demand. So, Aid, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that there's 2 bits to this. The first bit is, of course, with a 3-bladed head, if everybody started flying 3-bladed head, the quantity of blades that are being made goes up. Now, that, of course, means that the price per unit should, in theory, come down, because the more you make, the cheaper it gets per unit. So, whilst, yes, we will probably be seeing an increase in crash cost, I don't think it would be the 50% more that you would expect it to be. And I think a good person to ask on this sort of thing would be Jeff.
Let's go for Jeff.
Yeah, as far as the 3-bladed head.
Yeah, we're going to see one out of the
line? Not right now, but you know we have been looking at the 3-bladed head market. I've been talking to various pilots on our team that have the intrigue of that to see how it feels and so forth. As far as whether or not the market will be accepting of that, I think we'll soon find out. With, like you mentioned, Goblin with their 3-bladed head, and JR as well. So it should be interesting. I'm not sure we're going to go down that road just yet, but we're definitely looking at the market.
Let's have a word with Jamie. What do you think about these newfangled 3-bladed heads, mate?
I think it's definitely something that is appealing, especially to the guys that are doing a lot of the smack stuff. Because you know the videos that we've seen of Ito flying the 3-bladed head on the JR machine, and the one that Nick has released, or the few that Nick have released, it's really fast, and I think that's something that appeals to a lot of people. So I think maybe if more people, if the market goes that way, it could revolutionize flying styles around the world. So it's definitely something that we'll keep an eye on.
How would it revolutionize flying styles then, Jamie?
Well, because I mean, I think you could fly almost not quite twice as fast, but I mean, you can almost fly twice as fast with a 3-bladed head. At least it appears that way.
Okay. And also with the Goblin one as well. I mean, I'm not sure how universal this is going to be, but it's apparently one of the only ones, or if not the only one, where it's a fully adjustable head. You know, fully adjustable the fully adjustable dampers.
Yeah, I've not seen the. I only saw one picture of the Iroquois, so I'm not too familiar with it. But I did see the fuselage, and that looked. I like the lines on it. It looks good.
Cool. Well, listen, we could talk forever about this, but what we're going to do is go back over to Kev is going to complete some of the news. He's got some more features we're going to talk about. Then we're going to go back for an open forum and have a good old chinwag the lot of us. Okay, so what's the rest of the news, buddy?
Okay, yep. Moving on from the Goblin, over to Mikado now in Germany. From Italy to Germany, Mikado have announced a new logo, 690SX.
Nice.
Yeah, to me, it looks pretty much like the 600 SE, but they are saying there's quite a lot of differences on it. Let's just go through it here. They've changed the tail belt pulleys in a different belt. They've changed the blade grips with the bigger blade bolts. The freewheel bearing has been changed. Completely new battery tray. Main rotor shaft has got a new clamping system to clamp it to the main shaft, because they reckon they were having some problems with the older plastic frame Goblin, where when you're running it with the 690 blades, they reckon there was a little bit of flex in there, so they're getting rid of that. Herringbone gear comes as standard. You've probably seen it on some of the logos. They've got like a herringbone shaped gear. That was an option part on the 690. That is now a OE fitment that comes in the box. And they're also bringing out some combo packs, dedicated Scorpion motors and V-bar, all in the packet, ready to go. Just throw some of those in, give the box a shake, out comes the logo.
Well, that's simple.
Well, yeah,
that easy, yeah.
Well, if only.
It sounds like a good marketing idea, Jeff. Mutes.
Very super combo-ish, yes.
Yeah. So, now that sounds like a super duper combo. We've got some more news, yeah.
Yeah, we have. Moving on to Helifest the weekend. You were there voicing it for everybody, Nick, I do believe.
Yes.
Yes, he was. Okay, right. I'm just going to run quickly through the results. The sports category. First place was Matthew Pressey, second place was Scott Westgate, and third was Ali Humphrey. Intermediates, we got Jimmy McKenzie in first place, Gareth Davis in second, and Sam Smith in third. And in the professional class, we got Stuart Smith, who we've already mentioned, Duncan Osborne, he's another factory line guy, and Stephen Simmons. He was in third place, and I also promised his dad this, but I will give him a little shout out. Ethan Williams took part in the night flight, and I believe he absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I mean, he was really, 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 really good. I mean, he's very nervous, first time he's ever flown a night flying competition. I'd say what he did seriously remind me of Timo Kurlis, pilot number 8 at Helimasters last year. He was very, very good.
Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for the video to come through for that. As soon as we get the video, it'll be on Rotors, so we can share it with the world. Give this little man some coverage. God knows he deserves it. You know, he's come on. He's only been flying just over a year, I think. And this guy, he's got a future ahead of him. So yeah, big up to Ethan. Go on, Nick. Sorry.
I just say just while we're sort of on the you're going to carry on with the results there, because we're going to make a big thing about what's going to happen next.
Oh yeah, we're going to have a quick one about XFC now. As we all know, last weekend with XFC in America, the Futaba-sponsored Extreme Flight Championships held at the AMA flying field. First was Jamie Robinson, I guess just there. Second was Carl Stacey, and third Nick Maxwell. So as we've said before, Jamie's fourth time he's won it. And to be fair, beating pilots the caliber of your Kyle Stacey's and your Nick Maxwell, that's not an easy task to start with. So
and beating Mitch Morosa, who came in a very tidy fourth. He did a very, very good job. Not far behind Nick Maxwell, in fact.
Yes, I do believe that. Yep. So, but yeah, no, Jamie. As we've alluded to, you've won XFC 4 times, you've won Zone 3 times, but what does it mean to you to win XFC? Because it's probably the biggest competition in the States. You're the man to beat over there. What does it mean to you to win a competition of that caliber?
I mean, it's huge, and like you said, it's really the only competition we have in the States, other than the Urcha 1 deal that we've had the past few years. But when I first got into the hobby, watching Alan and Curtis and Jason Krause go at it at XFC, and I wanted to do that someday. And so to finally be a part of it and have a little bit of success has been it's been humbling to say the least.
I think you've been quite modest there, Jamie, to have a little bit of success. And when Kev said be successful over there, you're extremely successful here in the UK as well, aren't you?
Yep, the zone format is probably my favorite contest, to be honest with you. I love the head-to-head format.
Well, there's no room to hide, is there?
Nope, and it gets, especially when we get down to the final 8, it gets really entertaining.
It gets real tough, doesn't it?
Yep.
We've got a question from Jeff's kind of UK counterpart, Dean Durant. Dean said, "The pepper of the pot." Dean said, "Can you ask Jamie if he had to use the super secret sauce last weekend at XSC?" And Jeff, is the budget intact?
No secret sauce at XFC. Trying to save a little bit, see if we can't make something happen at Masters. So.
Well, I'm sure you were. I mean, Masters has always kind of eluded you a little bit, hasn't it? I mean, what? Last year, the Heli Masters 2013, I think. Well, you were down the line a little bit. You weren't in the top sort of. Well,
yeah.
Just in the top 10, weren't you? Just in the top 10. But what are you going to do to kind of, improve those results for this year?
Well, I did win Masters in 2011, but the last couple of years have been tough. Unfortunately, last year I zeroed a set maneuver, which is nobody's fault but my own. So, I've been thinking about that all year, and I'm looking forward to coming back and trying it again.
Well, there's one thing that nobody can take away from you is your determination and your sincerity to go ahead with your dreams and your ambitions, mate. We've got to say congratulations to Jamie from Daniel Klatsnik. Not sure where he is, but he wants to say big congratulations to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Daniel.
Also, okay, so are we finished with the news there, Kev?
Yes, we are, mate. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to have a little bit more of a chat about XFC, but I do believe we need to. No, it's okay. I mean, yeah, obviously XFC is one of the biggest in the world because most of the main heli pilots are in America. I mean, Connor, you're just getting into the competition scene now. You're coming on, your flying's coming on. Can you see yourself over at XFC in the future?
Hopefully, yeah, that's where I want to be. So yeah, definitely.
What skills have you got in order to kind of compete with these big boys, mate?
Well, yes, that's what I'm trying to work on. Mainly, especially against Jamie, my technicality stuff. I've got to notch up on that, definitely.
The kind of skills that you had that got you the Inters win at the Align Fun Fly last year. What are you picking up on? Are you picking up on that? What are the strengths and weaknesses of Connor Sloan right now?
Well, I think my strengths, I'm getting lower to the floor, so more crowd appeal. My weaknesses, technicality. That's what I'm trying to practice a lot more now to get hold of it.
Because we've watched you fly over the last sort of couple of years. I mean, you're only 16 years old, although Jamie won his first 2009 I think it was, Jamie, when you were on XSC.
I was 15.
2008 you came 6th. So, he's the same sort of age as you when he first started. I mean, obviously, I know Jamie's you look up to Jamie and all that sort of stuff, and that's absolutely fantastic. And to be on the Align factory team at such an early age, they must show a lot of confidence in you. Maybe that question can be kind of passed over to Jeff at the same time. What is it about the skills that Connor displays that kind of got you to invite him onto the team, Jeff?
Just his presence as far as a pilot, his confidence while flying, doing his routines there in Taiwan. We saw, you can see what separates pilots, competition pilots, from the crowd of guys competing. And there's definitely a skill set there, a mindset that you can recognize being around it as much as I have. The guys that have that skill, and besides just the flying part, I think Connor does have those skills to, like he's wanting to do, is to go further and advance himself with his flying.
I mean, I talk a lot to a lot of the pilots throughout the world, and there's some fabulous pilots. But Jeff, I'm going to ask you a question. What is it that sets apart a legend to a normal pilot?
I think the pilot has the ability to reflect upon his flight performance, each flight. You mentioned about Jamie with going into his flights, how he uses the headset, or if you look at pilots such as Curtis, who would sit there on the side and watch his peers compete. He analyzes what is being done throughout the competition and enables him to tweak, if you will, his flight performance to meet the expectations of the judges at a given competition.
So what is the situation with, like, for instance, for Connor going international? Is that possible now for Connor, do you think?
Yes. As far as getting into XFC, I believe Connor needs to submit a video of his routine and submit that into, that'll be Frank Knoll in the USA. And aside from submitting his video, he just needs to be basically given an invite, and he can come to the USA and compete.
I mean, the one competition as well, which is very famous. It's been won by Carl Dahl. 3 years running now, I think it was. Oh no, Nick Maxwell. Sorry, 2 years for Carl, and then Nick Maxwell before him. There's obviously Jamie won the zone competition. Carl got the position because he was the winner last year. So how does it work? How do they kind of what criteria do they look to when the IRCHA board invite a pilot to fly in the one competition? What are they looking for?
I believe the defending champion gets automatic invite, and then it is the winner of zone gets an invite, and then the top two at XFC and the top two at Heli Masters. And then the 7th and final slot is a special invite.
And that was Duncan Bossian last year, wasn't it?
I think so.
Who do you think it's going to be this year? Who would you put your money on?
Well, me, Kyle Dahl, Kyle Stacy, and Nick Maxwell are the ones who have made it in so far. So depending on what happens at Heli Masters, they'll add another 2 pilots.
But there's one pilot that the IRCHA board choose exclusively, don't they?
Oh yeah, that's correct.
Who's your money on? Who do you think it'll be?
Good question. I wouldn't be surprised if they picked Ben. Ben Storick, I think, would be a good one. Maybe Timo Kurlis. I'm not sure.
What do you think, Jeff?
I put my money on Ben Storick, the gambler.
The gambler.
That's right.
I put my money on Connor Sloan. They should have a Brit guy there. They should have a Brit. They got a French guy last year. They should have a Brit. There's enough really good Brits out there, isn't there?
I agree with you, Nick.
You would. No, seriously, I think they should at least have a. We've had European pilots out there for the wild card, so to speak. Member of the team for the one competition. I think they should have a Brit. Right. Okay. We've got a quick question for Jeff. Jeff, this is from Michael Mantle. Jeff, would the TRX 250 Pro DFC follow suit in terms of design like the 450 Dominator?
I'm sure you'll see the frame layout and things of that nature follow in the progression of what the 700 looks like, and I think that you will see that with some of our models such as the 550 and the 500 in the very near future.
Good.
So, yes.
Good. Thank you. A question from Graham Laurie. Graham says, does Jeff think the release of the 150 was poor and rushed?
Well, all releases, you want them to come out without a hitch, and just like any other release, there are going to be some snags along the way. We did have a few, to be honest, when we initially released, but I think we made the changes as rapidly as possible, as Align does. If you know from other manufacturers in the industry, Align is always on top of that, on the changes that need to be made, and we did so rapidly. So I do agree that things could always be better. Hindsight's 2020, but we did the best we could on our initial release.
So are we saying then that, say for instance, if we bought a 150 now, it would be considerably better than the original 150 which came out latter part of last year? Would it be a better machine?
Well, the frames, motor were some of the key areas that we had a few difficulties, and yes, so out of the box, actually releasing, you'll see it probably, if not this evening, tomorrow. We have a release of the new T-Rex 150 where we're actually including the charger, the carry case. So I'm sure that'll appeal to a lot of people that are looking for a 150 size T-Rex because it's everything in the box ready to go.
I'm glad you told us that, because that sounds like an ideal raffle prize for our Rotors viewers. But we'll surely talk about that at a later time. We've got a question from Darren Wooden. Darren says, "Hi Jeff, why don't Align make a carbon bottom plate so you can fit an OS 91 HZR engine? The kit will only let you fit an OS 105 or the third speed engine." I've no idea what that particularly means. Do you?
As far as the bottom plate, we're just basically trying to appease the dominance within the market as far as engine size. Most people are using 105s. I know guys that they'll have to take a Dremel, if you will, to the bottom plate to make it fit, which is not ideal. But again, we've tried to target the where the market is, and in the States, 105 is pretty much the dominant motor here.
Yeah, I think that's a good, very valid point. Well, what does it mean by all the 3D speed engine? Is that, I've not heard of that.
I'm not sure on the 3D speed engine he's referring, but when you look at YS and OS, those are what we look at. And again, the OS 105 appears to be the dominant engine of choice in the USA.
I think that's pretty same here in the UK. Let's have a quick chat with Kev. Kev, you got something to say?
Yeah, just going on to the 3D speed, it's just like a special edition of the OS engines. I used to race RC cars a bit, and they had like a line of engines called the speed engines, and now they're bringing that into the heli engines. But I've also got a product question for Jeff. I've had a few people ask me to ask this for you. The new speed fuselage for the 700, why is it called a speed? And why the hell haven't we seen any speed runs with it in videos? They're all 3D. What's behind it, Jeff?
As far as the speed, the name, that came out of Taiwan as far as the naming. As far as whether or not it's used for speed or racing, that is purely up to the consumer as far as whether or not they want to outfit it for speed competitions, if you will. Basically, the speed is just reminiscent of the design aesthetic of the canopy, if you will, much like we saw in SAB as far as the Goblin. We saw that there is a demand in that market sector, and as such, we wanted to embrace what our consumers are asking for. So rather than alienate our current consumers that like pod and boom, we wanted to create a hybrid, if you will, of a product that will enable us to serve both consumers, ones that want the body, which is we call the speed, or they can run pod and boom with the same mechanics that are present in our current machines.
It's a little bit off-putting though, isn't it, for people to sort of see a speed, Goblin T-Rex 700 speed on the side of it, yet there's no videos to sort of show it doing that, because presumably the insides, the mechanics, there's nothing different to a normal 700, correct?
That's correct, Nick. As far as that, again, the product.
It's just the shell, isn't it? It's just the boom wrap and the different canopy, yeah. Correct.
So as far as the electronics, I know from you can ask Jamie about this, but our pod and boom, is probably getting up to about 127. So we'll have to see what it can do with the body. And Jamie and Ben, they've been practicing for competition, So I really, to be honest with you, I haven't even sent them the body as of yet, due to the fact that I wanted them to focus their attention on competition, because that's is very important to us.
Cool, mate. Cool. Well, okay, we've got a question from. Sorry, Kev, are you just going to carry on with that?
Yeah. No, it's just a little bit of a continuation. I mean, obviously the boom is a boom cover. Now, did Align pay any thought into making the boom structural like the Goblin, so it was like a breakaway item to save stuff getting broken? Or I mean, what was the reasoning behind just keeping the original boom inside rather than have it as a breakaway item?
Well, being that you mentioned it, that quarter 20 bolt in the back, I know a lot of guys actually put that and change it to like a steel or aluminum type bolt. So I do know they have that breakaway, but I do know that a lot of their consumers actually change that bolt so it's not a breakaway to enhance the rigidity of that tail section. So just like those models, you know, as far as making a quote-unquote breakaway item, if there is a tail impact, most likely you're going to sustain damage. So, you know, as great as it may sound to have a quote-unquote breakaway item, I think that most consumers know that our machines are designed for flight, and if and when there is a crash, there's going to be damage, and it just wasn't something that we could integrate into the system and make it as robust as it is.
It's gonna, if you're gonna crash something, it's gonna break, isn't it? It's as simple as that. There are certain parts of physics you can't engineer out. I've got a question here from Dennis Salens. Jamie, did you fly gentleman? Jamie, did you fly any German helis? Have you flown any German helis like TDR, Diablo, Voodoo, or Banshee? And what's your opinion of them? Well, he's flown the Mikado, that's for certain.
Yeah, I haven't flown any of the previous missions one, the TDR, the Banshee, or any of those models. The only ones I've flown are of course, the logos.
Yeah.
I like watching the TDRs. The speed runs that they do are insane.
They certainly are, aren't they? Is there any sort of plans for Align to kind of deep dive into this speed thing, or are they just going to stick to what they know?
I'm actually unsure. That's probably a question that's better suited for Jeff. I'm just a pilot. He's more the product guy.
Go on then, Jeff.
All right. Well, as far as, again, the speed segment, it's a very small portion of the U.S. market. But again, we are watching the speed and the drag racing that we see at like IRCHA and things like that. It was something that was part of our market not too long ago. I'd say probably about 8 years back. We did see that drag racing and speed runs were something that was well received, but it dropped off a lot. So again, we're just going to continue to look at that, and don't necessarily count us out from necessarily the Banshee or the TDR type scene in the near future.
Sorry, Jeff, that was I was just taking a drink. Okay, no, I think with Align, I think they've been very focused on concentrating on what they're good at, and I think whether people out there listening or watching, they either love or they hate Align. Most people love them, I think it's fair to say, and I think most people have had one in the past. One thing that is unique about Align is the cost repair. You can buy the products everywhere. Thunder Tiger used to be like that, weren't they, Jeff? Where you could, every hobby shop, every store, you could buy Align products. I don't know what it's like in the US, but there's been some kind of upsetting sort of turbulence going on in the UK scene about Thunder Tiger, and I'm sure it will get ironed out. But wherever you go into a model shop, you can always buy Align, and you get 2 products in every packet. That's got to be good, isn't it?
Yes, from both a consumer standpoint and a marketing standpoint, it definitely gives us an advantage over our competitors in the market.
Definitely, definitely. What do you actually fly yourself, Jeff?
I have pretty much the whole lineup of what Align has to offer. So I do fly all of our products, and the one, of course, I like the most is the 700, just for the stability and the power that it does have. It's just a great flying machine, and I really enjoy flying that model. So that's the one that's my go-to model. But I do have the 800 and things such as our 250 bind to fly, ready to fly models and 450s. But if I have the chance to get to the field, I'm going with my 700, and that's what I'm going to be flying for the most part.
Fantastic. Okay. I've got to say hello to Mark Troutman, the managing director, the man behind Spinblaze. He's watching the show, and rchub.com over in Germany. So we're going to quickly have a quick chat again with Jamie Robertson. Right, Jamie, I want to talk to you if you're there, my friend. Yeah, fantastic. Jamie, when you take your machines to the flight line, what do you take with you? What are your maintenance schedules? What do you like to take with you? What sort of parts do you have on hand, and what do you change regularly?
Whenever you're going to a contest, obviously if you're going overseas, it's a little bit harder. You're kind of limited on what you can pack. But in the U.S., you're bringing essentially a whole kit. You know, fun flies, it's not really as big of an issue, but I do have three fully ready to go models. So you know, you always want to be prepared. Sorry, what was the other part of the question?
No, what sort of parts do you change regularly?
Oh, that's right. You know, to be honest, not just with the Align helicopter, honestly, but with all the manufacturers nowadays, within the past couple of years, there's not a whole lot that you have to change regularly. If you are flying very hard, the dampeners tend to wear out, and the DFC links tend to wear a little bit. They'll get a little loose. Just want to change those to tighten them up. But other than that, you're looking at stuff that lasts a long time.
And what's your perspective? What's your thoughts on oiling and greasing bearings in the motors? Do you do that?
No, actually, I don't oil my motor at all. I just oil the main shaft and the output shaft on the tail.
When the bearings get a little bit stiff, you probably change the motor, don't you?
Yeah, that's correct.
Why not? I've got a question here from maybe one of the other presenters want to ask some questions. Let's jump Aid in here. There's a question here from Neil Gennard. Would you like to ask Aid?
Yeah, question for Jamie. I flew at Helifest last weekend in my first sportsman class. He did flips, rolls, loops, nose down wall, and tail slide. Is about all he can do. His question is, I want to move on to pirouetting manoeuvres, and any tips to improve from there?
That's a question that I get frequently. I would say, if you're starting to get into pirouetting stuff, the best thing you can do is, don't move right into pirouetting flips or pirouetting loops or anything like that. Just work on, first of all, can you sit the model in a pirouetting hover without making it move? If you can do that and control it and keep it in a hover while pirouetting, then you want to start moving it around a little bit intentionally. Even to this day, I'll do little things where, like, I'll pirouette the model and just go in like a square form and then reverse it and go the other way. Any fundamental things like that can really help your control. And then once you have that down, you can start going into pirouetting flips. And my advice is start off with a slow pirouette rate. If you go right into the super fast rate, it can be a little bit more difficult. So once you do the basic pirouette things, then just start your maneuvers with a slow pirouette rate, and I think that'll help you.
Yeah, definitely. You want to be starting with a really slow, like maybe once every 2 or 3 seconds for a pirouette.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and as Jamie was saying, sort of little maneuvers. I love doing pirouetting figure of eights.
Yeah.
Sort of 4 foot off the ground, and just do a nice, smooth, gentle figure of 8 as you're doing the pirouette. If you do those upright and inverted, then you're onto a good one, really, aren't you, Jamie?
Exactly, and those teach you a lot of control. I still do those all the time. First flight of the day when I'm getting warmed up, I'll do those.
Yeah.
You did a very. Oh, sorry, go on.
And they look really nice as well. A really nicely done sort of pirouetting figure of 8. Yeah, really nice and circular, and not too fast on the travel rate. Looks really, really nice.
Yep.
Jamie did something very special at Zone recently. Duncan Bossian has done the one-handed metronome, the aileron tick-tock, and Jamie did something very, very special as he saved it till pretty much last, didn't you, Jamie? You did the pirouetting circuit, wasn't it? The pirouetting...
pirouetting funnel.
Funnel, that's it, yeah. That was... how the hell did you do that?
It's something I've actually been wanting to do for the last couple of years. But before I never flew with a neck strap. So that was a problem, so I had to get that sorted out first. And at first it really bothered me flying with a neck strap. So over the past 6 months or so, I've really tried to get used to flying with a neck strap, and then of course move on to the next step, which is actually doing the maneuver and being able to control it with using the cyclic only.
Now you fly mode 2. You fly. Don't worry, it's not live. We can always edit it out. So you were. Oh crap! It is. So you obviously fly mode 2. Is that how you've always done? Have you always flown that way?
Yeah, I've always flown mode 2. I think that's pretty standard in the U.S.
Okay. Did you fly planes as well?
When I first started flying, I flew planes a little bit. Nothing serious. Not anymore. I don't interest me as much. They can't do as much. Can't be as creative.
You've got Lonnie on it then. That stands for little or no interest.
Yeah.
Right. So, what about this new? I'm going to probably put this out to Jeff. What about this new G Pro? What is that all about? Jeff, if you don't mind. Unmute your microphone, Jeff.
There we go. The G Pro is our newest release into the flybarless market. We wanted to improve upon our 3GX, which we have continued to do so since its initial release. But G Pro has new software which enables you to use Android, use your iPhone for programming, so your Wi-Fi, and enables you to use basically one servo 90 as far as for your programming to make it really simple in your radio. So we wanted to make it a lot easier for people to set up their helicopters. But G Pro is very new. Jamie's had some experience with actual flight, so you could ask him about how it flies. But from what I'm told by my top pilots, they say it's very close to paralleling some of the top branded flybarless systems that are available in the market, and it's included in the box with the new 700L Dominator.
Okay. Is the G Pro is that got a bailout feature in it, Jeff?
No, as far as a bailout feature, it does not have a bailout feature. You're the bailout on that particular system.
Okay. So Jamie, then what's your opinion then of the G Pro? Is that better than the V-Bar? Because that's what you're flying at the moment, isn't it?
That's correct. I'm flying V-Bar right now. I have one model with the G Pro in it that I tested a couple weeks before Zone, so a couple months now. But I gotta say, it is a huge improvement over any of the 3GX versions. You know, it's unfortunate because we've had a rough time with the 3GX. So I think a lot of consumers are kind of timid. You know, they've moved on to the Icon or the V-Bar or other flybarless units, and they're scared to try, you know, either the new 3GX updates or the G Pro. But I would urge anyone to, when the G Pro does release, you know, just give it a try.
Oh, I think we might have lost Jamie there. Oh no, he's back.
Can you
Sorry,
hear me?
the last 15 seconds. Can you repeat that? Sorry, Jamie.
Some Align people that buy Align products were having problems with the 3GX, so they moved on to other systems. So I think with the G Pro, I just urge them to give it a shot and see what you think, because it is way better than any of the 3GX versions. And I would say for about 95% of pilots, they're not going to be able to tell the difference between the G Pro or any other manufacturer's flybarless system.
I mean, just before we jump over to Aid, I mean, to be fair, from my own personal experience, I first started flying flybarless back in about 2010, maybe a little bit earlier, and I had the original 3G system. Yeah. And I wasn't particularly fantastic sort of 3D pilot, but I tell you what, it was absolutely fine. I never had any challenges with it. But I bet if any of the main manufacturers, whether it be Spartan, Bavarian Demon, Icon, Mikado, if they'd have been the first ones to bring the flybarless unit to the market, they would have had similar problems.
Yeah, actually, I think Mikado was the first one to do the flybarless system, if I'm not mistaken. But when Align first came out with their first system, we did have some hiccups, to say the least. But you know, just like it took Mikado time to develop and come out with something that was really stable and doesn't do anything funky, I think Align is definitely starting to get there.
There's a lot of good reports, about the latest firmware update from the 3G system, and if it's come from a line, it's got to be good. Let's have a quick word with Aid.
Yeah, just something just come to mind. I'm going to go down the three guests, so I'll start with Jamie. Fingers and thumbs, or just thumbs?
Just thumbs for me.
And lots of expo, or not much expo?
Not much expo, about 5% on the cyclic.
Wow, that's not very much at all.
Yep.
Connor, same question.
Thumbs.
Thumbs, and lots of expo or no expo?
About 25% on your cyclic.
You novice.
And Jeff?
I pinch. So I pinch and I use a little bit of expo, probably 15-20% range.
Yeah. In reality, it's
Jeff's a novice.
In reality, it's 35. I've seen. Mind you, I have seen Jeff flying his 150 on his porch. And I tell you what, he was doing some little sort of some chaosy kind of maneuvers and sort of flips and rolls and stuff. So pretty handy there, aren't you, Jeff?
I fly and have fun. I don't try and fly and be like Jamie or Connor there, but I always tell guys, especially at the field, don't get discouraged when you see those guys. Just fly and have fun, and that's what I do. I make sure that I'm having fun, and I can fly to the best of what I can do and be in control. And that's what my game is, and that's what I hope our consumers are having fun flying the product.
I think it's fair to say probably 99.98% of the people who fly helicopters in this world are of the same opinion as yourself, Jeff. Fantastic.
They can be only one.
It's all about having fun. It's all about enjoying yourself. We had a great weekend, didn't we, at Zone, Jamie? I mean, there was a lot of pressure for Jamie. I could see. I talked to him, and for a young guy of limited years, I was very impressed by the way he held himself together and carried himself. Everyone else was losing their heads. I was screaming my head off, and I was losing control of it, and I was just getting really excited. But Jamie just stayed focused. He stayed in the zone, and he won through in the end. When you did your final flight there, Jamie, the pressure was seriously on. Nick Maxwell had crashed out. It was a head-to-head between you and Ben. Your best of pals, all of the time.
Yep.
Craig, you spend a lot of time with each other. What must it be like for you guys to go head-to-head with such, a large, kind of title at stake? How do you deal with that?
I think, of course, as competitors, you want to win. But I think at the end of the day, no matter who won, it's not going to affect our friendship. When we're flying, we want to be the best. But at the end of the day, we're still going to be friends. And I've dealt with that since I started flying. When me and Nick were flying for Curtis back in 2009, 2010, it was sort of the same thing. He would win, then I would win, and it never affected our friendship.
Oh, that's good. But when you get out on the flight line, you just want to beat the hell out of your competitors, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, when you go to a contest, the goal is to win, no matter what. So, yeah.
So, looking forward, then. Well, before we look forward, let's go to Kev, please.
Yeah, no, like you say, you want to go forward with what Jamie's going to be doing in the future. I just want to take it back a little bit. Just get underneath the skin of Jamie Robertson. Let's find out a little bit more about the guy. We've touched on your successes. Super successful at XFC, super successful at Zone, do really well, one of the top pilots in the world. But where did it all start? What got you into helis? Who were your influences? Who got you into it?
So one question.
Go for it.
I'm sorry?
One question at a time from Jamie. Maybe an international billionaire playboy philanthropist, but he can only handle one question at a time.
Well, my dad actually flew helicopters in the late 80s and throughout the 90s, and then I think about 99 he got out of it. Of course, I was still very young back then, and then
still very young back then. You're still very young now.
Well, you know what I mean. I
know what you mean.
And then I think it was about 2005. My dad bought a T-Rex 450 and started playing with it, and he bought a simulator. And I started messing around on the simulator and kind of got interested, and he started showing me videos. You know, the first videos I remember seeing were Alan testing the T-Rex 600, the first version of the T-Rex 600 electric over in Taiwan, and after I saw that, I was hooked. And then, you know, I saw XFC for the first time in 2006, and, you know, I just dove right into it. And as far as influences, I think the biggest influence was Curtis, no question, because he is close to me. So I saw him early on at a lot of fun flies, and, you know, anybody who knows Curtis knows that he's real sociable, and so, you know, he kind of talked to me, and, you know, I really looked up to him and still do. So he was definitely the biggest influence on me. And then also at the time, you know, I think Dominic Hagel, Lucas Riva, and those guys were sort of the top of the time. So that was, you know, you try to shoot for that.
Mm. So in terms of you know, when you first started and you first got your first helicopter, what were your did you have a routine? Did you have a training routine back then? How did you start off first with nosing, hovering? Did you lazy eights, figure of eights? What did your dad teach you in the beginning?
Yeah, good question. When I first started, I did simulator before I ever flew in real life. So after a couple weeks or so on the simulator, you know, I could hover and stuff like that. And so when I did my first flights on the T-Rex 450, I can't remember which version it was, but you know, I just did tail and hover, and then slowly progressed into the side on hover and then nose in. And after I got all those orientations down, just started doing figure eights, and then, you know, after that, flips and loops.
What's the hardest maneuver you currently do?
Hardest maneuver. I would say probably reverse pirouetting tic-tocs are very difficult, especially to control them.
Those are easy. I'm thinking the ball. Is that hard for you?
Yeah, let's not talk about the ball. Yeah. The ball's the one that got me last year at 3D Masters, so
I know.
I'm sour about that maneuver.
Sorry, mate. I had to bring that one up. But you're practicing it, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this year. From what I've seen on the 3D Cup France, they're being a little bit more lenient about the way it can be done. So I don't think it'll be an issue this year.
Did you watch the live stream? Obviously, yeah.
I watched a little bit of it. I was practicing for XFC while trying to watch a little bit of it, but I saw Duncan's flights. He was impressive. Mirko as well.
And you obviously saw my flight as well, didn't you?
I don't believe I did.
I don't think you missed a great deal.
I saw that. I saw your announcing on that when that goblin blew up. That was pretty epic, huh?
Kev, Aid, let's have you. Come on.
No, I'm gonna just twist the knife a little bit on that one. The announcing on the goblin explosion was absolutely epic.
It was epic.
Wow.
That's all I can say. It was just like, I've never seen a helicopter go so fast. It's like just sort of Superman on steroids. It was just, I mean, the thing is, Marcel was running its 6 cell. It was running a 250 amp ESC. The motor was just this like this unorthodox. It looked like it looked like a beer can. It was just ridiculous, and it was just ballistic. I've never seen a helicopter go that fast, but I've never seen a helicopter destroy itself so violently before. Bless him. But obviously, completely overkill. It's over the, over the design, way over the design specifications for it. But I suppose it was a good experiment, which kind of didn't turn out all that well. Have we got any questions from Connor? Is there anything you want to ask Jamie whilst we're together?
Yeah, stop getting so good. Let me overtake you.
I don't think that'll happen.
I think I got a few years left in me, hopefully.
Yeah, man. Got a question from Nicholas McDonald. It says, hi, wondering what you guys would suggest for a new flybarless system for my 500 size heli. Currently use the BSEX in my 450. Al was looking at an Icon, but wasn't sure about the one, flybarless, blah, blah, blah. I think we've kind of already covered that one, I think, because we suggest give the new 3G, the new Align one a crack, maybe. What is your thoughts on Heli Masters 2014? Then have you started practicing for that already?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, mate.
Yeah, I've done. Fortunately, the format at XFC this year is real similar to Masters, other than the set maneuvers being different. So I'm a little bit ahead of the game on the freestyle flight and the music. The music's a little bit different from Masters, but so I've got about 12 days here to get ready and buckle down. So hopefully I'll be ready.
Just quickly talking about that as well, with about the level of practice, the level of commitment. I was talking to Marco and Mirko Sasena. Mirko puts in 1,500 hours a year minimum into his flying. Now, obviously, that's a blend of sim and real and all that sort of stuff. How does that differ to your training schedule?
Well, I don't know how many hours per se. I tend to the winter months, November, December, January, February, I tend to not fly as much unless I'm at an event. Normally those months are spent getting music together, trying to come up with new, interesting maneuvers, and then around March I'll start flying a little bit more. That's when the fun fly season kind of picks up, and then the end of April, early May is when you really start buckling down. Usually 2 weeks before a contest, I'll fly every day as long as it's not raining, and do anywhere between 20-25 flights a day on average. So it's about the same thing for throughout the summer up until IRCHA ends.
And then in the winter time, you sort of chill out, relax a little bit, and kind of get back to a normal life to a degree.
Yeah, yeah.
And spend some time entertaining the ladies. Right. So we're gonna ask the same question actually to Mr. Sloan. Connor. Now you're a few years behind, obviously, Jamie. You're just finished school. You're ready to kind of make decisions on your future career. At the same time, you've got this, shall we say, a slight distraction about flying RC helicopter toys, as your friends and probably family may consider it to be. We all know it to be slightly different. But what do you tend to try and get up to in terms of your practice routine? Because if you want to beat somebody like Carl Stacey, Carl Dahl, Jamie Robertson, Nick Maxwell, you've got to put the hours in, haven't you?
Yes, definitely. Well, I mean, it's always about hard practice all the time. You've got to keep practicing. I mean, if I wanted to beat Jamie, I'm sure I will in the future, hopefully. But, I mean, I've got to get a lot of practice in, especially find out Jamie's weaknesses as well.
He hasn't got any. He's a machine.
I'm sure I'll find some out.
Well, I suppose you've got to, haven't you, to try and get the advantage. Yeah. And what are your plans for the future? Let's talk to Connor a little bit more now. Let's kind of focus on Connor, because we see you fly. We've seen you fly obviously at Zone. We saw you fly at Helifest, Helimasters the weekend at Western Park. We're going to be seeing you obviously at the 3D Champs at Tewkesbury in the UK. You're going to be flying, obviously. You've got a place, I believe, at Helimasters, haven't you?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, you flew last year at Helimasters, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, sorry, I thought you did. Beg your pardon. So this is the first time for you at Helimasters. Is this going to be? Is this daunting for you?
It's getting a bit daunting now. Yes, as there's only a few left.
And how are you going to prepare for that, Connor? What are you looking to? Where are you looking to place?
Well, now it means as though I finished school, got my last exam on Wednesday. I'm going to try and get as much practice as I can in. So, and then when I get out there, hopefully watch quite a few other pilots who I'm up against, find out what their strengths and weaknesses, and then go from there how I'm going to work my flight around.
Do you find with flying helicopters, Connor, it's sort of instinctive, or do you have to really think about it? Do you have to get past a point where your skills reach a certain level where it just becomes instinctive?
I think, yeah, when I first started flying, I'm always progressing as I am now. But as I'm going along, there's always new things that are coming out. And you've got to work your brain around how do they do this, how do other pilots do that. And yeah, it's quite challenging on how to get your head around things.
Do you ever think you would finally get to be an aligned pilot? Was that your goal? Connor.
Repeat that again, please. It kind of.
Sorry, buddy. Did you originally set out to be an aligned pilot, or was that just a nice thing to happen to you?
Yeah, well, basically from day one, I've always started out on a 600 Nitro, and I've always been aligned. And I always said to myself, because I fly with Duncan Osborne as well, I've always looked up to him, and I've always said to myself, I want to get where Duncan is, and it turned out that way.
Do you have? Well, we've noticed the top pilots, the young guys coming through. They seem to have they seem to belong to a team of pilots or a group or a club where there are really high level pilots which kind of push you on. I myself, at the club that I belong to, I think the average age of the pilots there is around about 137, and they hate helicopters. You don't get that where you fly, do you?
No, our club's only limited to 45 members, and it's helicopters only, and occasional quads.
You see, you need that inspiration and that team spirit, don't you? Do you know one thing I've noticed as well when standing up on the flight line? It's the top pilots. I think Jamie's one of them. Duncan definitely, and Bert. They all seem to have this war face on when they're flying on the sticks. I've never noticed it before. But especially the weekend, I noticed Bert's like, he's putting like all this aggression into his sticks, and Duncan, he was shaking like I've never seen anybody shake that. But it didn't affect his flying. But he was shaking, his legs were shaking, his hands were shaking. Do you think that's nerves, or do you think that's adrenaline?
A bit of both. Yeah, definitely. I get it like it sometimes. I'm sure I'll get it at Heli Masters.
Do you get that? Do you get in that sort of you've got to aggressively push everything through, and do you have that mindset?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to get through everything, and it does get a bit nervous, and yeah.
Can I just ask that question quickly to Jamie? Jamie, when you're on the flight line, obviously everybody only ever sees your back. What is going through your mind during your flight? Are you really sort of talking to your model? Are you being aggressive to your model? How is your mind working during your flight? Walk us through that. I'm really keen to understand this.
Well, if you're talking competition, then hopefully you've practiced enough to where it's second nature. So you shouldn't really. I don't really know how to explain it. You shouldn't be thinking about what you're doing. Obviously a little bit, but you're not like, well, what am I going to do next? Because you've practiced it so many times that it's already built in. If you're just a fun fly, then I don't know. It's just kind of the way your fingers feel. I don't know.
I guess it's probably hard to explain to somebody. I just see this from observations, really, where some of the top pilots, they really, I don't know. They're a different person when they're flying. It's quite strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have it really that. I wouldn't say.
Fair enough. Okay, we're going to have a look at another couple of questions. I'm going to drop the mantle over to Kev or Raid in a minute, because I know they're dying to sort of kind of speak out right now. So let's talk very quickly about Heli Masters. Right, the results obviously for Heli Masters last year. Carl Dahl took the win. We had Duncan Bossian, Michael Wisbacher, Carl Stacey. We had Johnny Bossian, and then in sixth it was Eaton Goldstein, Timo Curlis, obviously yourself, Jamie, then Ben and Marius Muller. Poom, Unitinada. There's such fantastic names in there. How's it going to look this year? Where are you going to place, do you reckon, Jamie?
Well, anytime you go to a contest, the goal is to win. So I think the top guys will be Dahl, of course, Nick, Hiroki Ito from Japan, from JR. It'll be very interesting. He's a FAI world champion, so look forward to competing against him. Also, Mirko Suzana. I think Mirko is the next superstar as far as a guy that will win multiple contests throughout his career. Michael Wisbacher is also, very good.
I totally agree with you there. I think Mirko Suzana has got such a work ethic and a practice regime and a mindset which is definitely the mindset of a winner. Let's go over to Kevin, please. Kev, when you're ready.
Yeah, now, just going back, Connor, we spoke briefly with Jamie about his history, how he got into the hobby, who his influences were and everything. I just want to direct the same question to yourself, really. who got you into helis? Who were your biggest influences? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Stuff like that. Talk about yourself, Connor. Sell yourself. We want to know the real Connor Sloan.
Well.
Oh, by the way, Connor, sell me this pen. That's what you said.
Well, yeah. From the beginning, my dad's been in the hobby for about 20, 25 years. That's where it's basically begun. I used to go to all the events. I mean, my model helicopter club used to help out at 3D Masters, which is around the corner from my house. We always used to, and watching Lucas Reaver, Dominic Hagel, as Jamie has said, that's really inspired me to get going. And then one day I come home from school and there was a T-Rex 600 Nitro there for my line that my dad had got me. And
Thanks,
that's when
Dad.
it all began. Yeah.
What a dad.
Yeah, and then starting from flying, a club member called Dave Payton, he took me on board as he's my mentor. Yeah, he helped me pass my A certificate, B certificate, and then then, he's been my caller, getting on to all these comps now, still my caller, and he helps me out a lot, that helps me do my music, freestyle sets. But yeah, huge thanks to them, and mum and dad as well. I mean, they've spent a lot of money getting me where I am now. And also, I don't forget my sponsors as well, Dean Pepperpot. He's the one who's helped me get also where I am for being who he is, get my name out there. Robbie Schlute, UK, Keith Wallinger there. He's also been very helpful towards me. Get my name out there, giving me all the kit, align wear and all that. And also Trevor Wallinger at Midland Helicopters, he's been very helpful.
Good old Trev.
Get me what I need, yeah. And yeah, they helped me get over to Align Funfly, especially Keith Wallinger and Dean. And yeah, getting out there was a really big achievement, especially being able to win the competition. That's the best bit about it. That's the bit I love.
Absolutely. I think I've got to say a lot of respect actually to Dean, because Dean himself has only been in the hobby sort of a couple of years, and he's had some significant illnesses in his in the last sort of few years of his life, and he's kind of a testament to what it's like, true British grit and determination to get up and not let things beat you, and he's kind of in a good place at the moment, isn't he?
He's living his life. Yeah,
absolutely.
He loves it.
So no, much respect to Dean Durant. We love you, dude. So we're going to talk. We're going to have a quick question as well from, well, in fact, a hello actually from Mickey Balboa. Adrian, greetings from San Francisco, California, IA. Hello to Michael Mantle. He said, I agree with you, Nick, that the URCI is awfully quiet. Blah blah blah. I honestly think that's customers. By the way, I didn't realise you were so tall. Oh right, okay. Fair enough. Okay, so I've got to send another hello to Mark Tramman, who didn't hear us before because he was watching the football. How dare you? But I am kind of singing the praises. I'm flying the flag for us Brits because we're playing on Thursday, aren't we? So come on, England. But hi to Mark Tramman. Yeah, Mark Tramman of Spinblades and rchub.com. Mark, you still owe me those matte red blades. So yeah, cool. Let's crack on. We've got some more questions. Aidan, Kev, do you want to jump in here and just help us out a little bit, because I know you're dying to get involved and speak and get your points across. Go on.
Well, I was going to ask one from Lee Trevathan. I hope I've pronounced that right. I have piraflips nailed, but I've hit a wall when with double piraflips. I can't get my head around the adjustment from one to the other. Any tips? Now, I'm assuming he's talking about reversing the pirouette direction here, but I'm not sure. Jamie?
If he is talking about reversing the pirouette direction, let's see. He says he has it one way, but he's having trouble with the other way. This is something that's common with everyone, because whichever way that you're used to and stirring on the cyclic, your muscle memory is so used to doing that when you try to go the other way, you'll self-consciously end up going the wrong way on the stir, which is something that just takes a lot of time to get over, to build muscle memory back going the other way. I don't think there's any real tips you can give, because obviously it's the same inputs as whatever way you're comfortable with on the piraflips. It's just a matter of getting over that mental block of stirring the opposite direction.
Yeah, I think the tip I have there really is probably to go back to basics and what we were talking about earlier on with the slow pair, the other direction, and do the basic movers like the pirouetting figure of eights and that sort of stuff, upright and inverted, with the right hand pirouette rather than the left hand.
For sure, I agree.
It's not. It's something that I hit the wall on a number of years back and decided that I wasn't going to bother. Although I may start trying again now, but it is really, really hard, Lee. It is really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. I think Connor's got a question there. Can I jump in, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going through that stage now, getting my head around which way to stir the stick, as I got pretty handed stirring it one way, and now I'm getting to the stage where I've got to start reversing things for the competition to get my scores up and that, and to compete against the likes of Jamie. So yeah, it is very difficult. It's very challenging.
Trying to tell me life's not fair. So, sorry, go on.
Kev's got some input on that one, I think, as well.
Input away.
No, not so much input. It's just why we're on the subject of manoeuvres and stuff like that. I mean, James is a well-established pilot, so he must have a move that is his favourite move. He's got nailed and down. But Connor's the upcoming pilot now. He's the young pretender to Jamie's crown. What's the one move you've got, Connor? The absolute one move you've got nailed. You think even the likes of Jamie can't beat you on this move. Go on, what is it?
No comment. I don't know.
Oh no, this is not what you said last night, was it? Come on.
No, hovering, that's it. Hovering.
Yeah, tail in or nose in?
Tail in, hovering. Tail in, hovering.
Hovering?
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't tell anybody. If you have got a manoeuvre like that, don't tell anybody, because then they'll start practicing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, it's not like it's live, is it? So anyway, the same question to Jamie as well, really. Obviously, you've been doing it quite a while now, and you're at the top of your game. What's the one manoeuvre you do that you think no one in the world can top you on that manoeuvre?
I don't think you can really narrow that down, because I think there's a handful of guys in the world that can do pretty much anything with a helicopter without getting disoriented. Kyle Dahl, Nick.
Me, yeah.
And those guys. So I don't think you can really say, it wouldn't be fair to them to say that, yeah, I can do this and they can't, because it's not true.
Okay. Well, I've got my sign is completely off center. I've just tried to readjust it, and it's not having it. Oh well. Don't worry about it. We'll try and be professional next time. So yeah, we've got obviously ROTORS coming up. Jeff, what does that mean to you as a brand? You know, for a line, how important is that for you that show?
ROTORS is a very important show in the States due to the fact that there's about at least 1,000 pilots present at that particular event, and it gives us an opportunity to interact with the consumer and potential consumers. So it's very important for us to be there, to show our products, show our wares, and for our personalities such as Jamie, Ben, Colin, Alan, all the guys to be out there so people can come and interact with our pilots, interact with what we have to offer, and to ask us questions. So that's what we're there for, and we look forward to being there every year.
We've spoken before, but the first time we actually met was Orlando, wasn't it, Jeff? We had a bit of a blast there, and it was good fun.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, and meeting you there, your personality coming out, announcing for us there was awesome. So I was glad that you made it out to that event and made it a lot more fun for us.
Oh, thank you very much. I had a really good time. What do you think about ROTORS then? Having a Brit over there commentating, do you think that'll go down well?
I think that's going to just add to the excitement, get people more excited at the event, because a lot of our events, I hate to say it, are a little dry in that respect, and what you add to the mix will enhance what is already a great event, will make it even much more great. So
I agree.
You're there.
Thanks, guys. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to mention about Jamie's check behind there from 2009. Why have you got that one up there, Jamie, and not your recent one?
Well, actually, 2009 was the only year that they gave me a big check, so that's the only one I have. 'Cause the other years it's just an envelope. I didn't get a big one like this. So.
Have you noticed? If you notice, if you looked over your left shoulder, Jamie, you as well as everybody else can actually see that the 5,000 has actually been rubbed. Is that because you've been stroking it? Mine, it's all mine.
Come on.
Jamie, you are a superstar in the industry, and we've got the tremendous amount of respect for your skills, buddy. You know, you're a down-to-earth guy. I think a lot of people do kind of get a little bit confused as to the Jamie Robertson behind the transmitter and the Jamie Robertson behind the scenes, and I think that's testament to your professionalism. And it's a great way to inspire younger pilots to have fun and take it seriously at the same time. But at the same time, if you do take it seriously, you're gonna get results, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so apart from Mirko Cesena, in the helicopter scene, both not just from obviously Mirko flies for Mikado. What other pilots do you think have kind of got the edge or could have the edge in future years?
I think Kyle Dahl. He's shown no signs of dropping off as of yet, and as far as history goes, he is the most consistent pilot that we've ever seen as far as consistently placing on the podium. So Dahl has always been up there since he first got into it. I'm trying to think of some other new guys that are coming up that I think are really good. I think Timo has serious potential. Obviously Nick has been there for years. So,
what is your thoughts about this? Now, you young guys, us guys, we've got our careers and other fingers in other pies. Can this last forever? And if not, what's the plan B?
No, it can't last forever, and I don't plan for it to. Outside of helicopters, I have other things that I like to do, and other things that I eventually want to do in life. You can't be one of the best pilots in the world and also have something else that you do 100%. You just can't do it. I do go to school, and I'm able to keep up with my flying while going to school. But someday I want to have a family and all that good stuff. So, it's not going to last forever. So you try to take advantage of the time that you have.
What do you want to do for a career? Where's that heading?
I want to be an American football coach. So currently I'm getting my major is psychology with a minor in sports management. So once I get my degree, I'll kind of evaluate where my flying's at and kind of decide on the best option as far as how long I'm going to keep flying, and then when I'll transition into going into coaching.
Fantastic. I didn't know that. What about you, Connor? What are your plans for the future, buddy?
Well, I want to have my own full-size helicopter.
Ooh, don't we all?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my goals in life.
So how are you going to achieve that, Connor?
Make
loads of money!
Yeah, hopefully.
Procrastination is the thief of time. Jeff, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I would like to continue to do what I do. Get to be around all these great personalities, all these individuals, to manage these young pilots, and to get to partake in what used to be just my hobby, but actually is my career. So being around the hobby industry and integrating advertising and things of that nature has been a great thing for me, because I've been able to integrate my career with my hobby, and now they're one. And so, I hope my boss isn't watching, but this is a lot of fun for me. This is, even though my job's a job, it is the fun to me, and I'd almost do it just to do it. But that's where I'm at with it. So I love what I do, and I hope I can continue to do this for a lot longer to come.
Oh, Wendy Wang, if you're watching, Jeff's a great guy. Please please extend his contract for another 6 months. No. What was you doing before? What was you doing before Align then, Jeff?
I worked in advertising print sector, so I was doing advertising, packaging design, things of that nature. So that's kind of what I went to school for. But the hobby has always been something I've done since I was 12 years old. And despite some of my instructors while going to school and me fascinating about models while I'm at school, it's always been in the back of my mind. And again, I was able to integrate my hobby with my career path, and it's been great.
What
Experience.
a great combination! Yeah, what a great combination. What do you think? The kind of future holds for Jeff Fassbinder with the team. I mean, how further up the kind of tree can you go with Align, Jeff? Is that something you're looking at doing?
Well, I'd like to continue what I'm doing. The only thing that as far as adding to my plate, if you will, would just be to maybe have someone maybe take the reins on the advertising side and more focus on the team management and also the field marketing, if you will, being the events and so forth. It takes a lot of time, a lot of planning, and better enabling me to interact with more consumers. So my time's kind of stretched between the advertising. Obviously, every year we have to set up contracts and things of this nature, but I'd love to be able to just dedicate myself 100% to that other side, but for now, I'll do what I'm doing. So I don't know if that's aspiring to do more or become a VP or anything of that nature, but that's what I'd like to do.
Well, they've got a good guy and somebody who's very committed to the brand. That's clear, Jeff. So very, very best of luck to you in the future. I want to ask you a quick question before I just jump over to Aiden Kev. The Sabos, both Alan and Danny, have done such a marvelous job on promoting the hobby to the global market, but also I think kind of instrumental, as well as Marcus Kim, in the early days of putting Align well and truly and firmly on the map. Talking about sponsored pilots, which they both are, but I believe Danny's moved on to aerial photography and stuff now, but obviously Alan's still on the team. Alan is a full factory sponsor. How many full factory sponsors are there out there, and are they as common as people think?
As far as full factory sponsored, I'm not sure what the requirements are in the UK and in Germany, but for a full factory ride, if you will, you need to be a competition pilot. That's how it is here in the States. I would want my guys who are quote-unquote factory to be competition pilots. Alan did do a stint as a competition pilot, but he has the title, but he's also more. He's doing a lot of R&D things for us, spending a lot of time overseas and helping us test things. So as far as a lot, I'd say there's a handful of guys that are out there for us that are quote-unquote factory, and then we have our field representatives, which help out at a lot of our grassroots events here in the States.
What is happening to Danny? Am I right in saying he's moved on to sort of aerial photography now?
Danny, as you mentioned, he was probably transitioning on his career, and for that he wasn't able to dedicate his time to flying. I wanted him to be able to continue to compete. He's a young guy, but he was kind of torn between his aerial photography, which he likes to do, and flying. And unfortunately for him, he came to a crossroads basically that he wanted to dedicate more time to his aerial photography, which is his livelihood.
What sort of contracts do these young pilots tend to get? Can you walk through the process? You say you got factory pilots, which Connor obviously is one of them. What is your tier of sponsorship at Align?
Well, I mean, just like you mentioned, Connor, he's a competition pilot, which enables him to take part in the factory team. As far as their contracts, they're individual contracts, just like you see in sports and other type of activities, and there are tiers. As far as the actual numbers and so forth, I really can't discuss that, but there are levels to each of their contracts, and they each have their own represented products that they represent, if you will. So they are tied with different products that we have to offer the market.
And in terms of talent scouts, do you have a team of those who covertly go and check out these pilots, or do you rely on the pilots sending you videos? And how does a pilot go about becoming a factory aligned pilot or a supported aligned pilot, Jeff?
Well, a lot of guys know that they can contact me as far as through email, online. They can approach me at events, and I'm always watching too. Despite what people may think, I'm always looking at new talent that's in the market and seeing if there are any opportunities for us to maybe ascertain a pilot. He may be on another team for all you know. You never know. But I'm always looking at what's out there as far as individuals, because when you go to an event, you can see that there may be thousands of people there, but there's probably only a very select few that can really stand out against all those people that are there. And the guys that we have in our factory program are those guys that do stand out, and you can see just through the way they handle themselves, through their flight performance, both on the field and in the booth. They present themselves very professionally. So those are the kind of people that I look for.
So if you were to look for three things which would stand out a pilot, what are those three things? What are the three things you're looking for if there were?
Character. I'd like them to have a very strong ethic as far as with not only their flying, but their own personality, aware of themselves and how they are able to interact with people. So they have to be able to help people, both with the product and just being able to be approachable. That's one. The other thing is obviously they need to be an outstanding pilot. Again, being able to evolve as a pilot. I know some people have mentioned about getting stuck. These guys that are there, they're able to evolve. They constantly change from competition to competition. They're always bringing something new. Some of the times I'm unaware of this new move. They dazzle me with that, and again, that makes them a great pilot. And the last thing is I'm looking for a guy who's loyal. I look for a guy who has a track record of committing himself to a company, whether it's with a line or wherever he's been. It's not a guy that is moving from brand to brand. I look for that loyalty because that creates trust as a team within the group, and enables us to enhance our relationship as a team at large. So those are the three things that I kind of look for in all my team pilots.
Well, that's a very comprehensive explanation there. Thanks, Jeff. If one question I'm going to ask before I jump on to Kevin Aid, if there was one pilot that has historically left the Align team, what one pilot would you like to come back onto the Align team if you could wave a magic wand? Jeff, unmute your microphone. Just
that's a great question. But one of the ones that I know that had a huge impact on Align, and it's coming to market, would be Lucas Riva. I mean, he had that kind of a wild side, if you will, from the American standpoint. You'd see him come out, but I think he was one of the guys that helped again put Align on the map, and maybe a guy that look forward to talking to. I watched some of his current videos. I know he had some. I think it's a Protos or something to that effect.
Protos 700 Max. So, yeah, the Protos 700 Max. Yeah.
So I do watch. I look at videos. So it's not just at events. So if guys have videos, send me a link and say, hey, take a look at me, and I'll look at that. But I also look at, again, I'll look at the track record, see what events they've been to, what events they may be going to, and try and maybe intersect them at one of those events. So yeah, multimedia is great for putting their videos out there and enabling everybody to see.
Absolutely. We had actually Lucas on our first Rotors, the RC Helicopter Show. He was our first guest, along with Matty Lodge from Fast Lab Performance, and it was the first time that he actually made the announcement that he's coming back onto the world scene. So with, as you say, the MSH Protos 700 Max. So we do wish the best of luck to you, Lucas, and we'll see you at the shows this year. Let's talk to Kevin Aid. First up, Adrian, please.
I'm just going to mop up some of the last few remaining questions from the audience.
Yeah, please do. Please go for it.
Jeff, does the G Pro have vibration analysis?
I would have to defer to Jamie. He's the one that tested. I have not tested the unit myself. It was Jamie and a few of the other team pilots doing that.
But Jamie,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
does the G Pro have vibration analysis?
Vibration analysis, what exactly are you referring to?
I assume he's talking about being able to see on a visual graph like you can on the Spartan.
I don't believe so. I see what he's saying now. I don't think so, no.
Okay. I assume this is probably at Jeff. Is a line slowly getting out of the flybar market?
As you well know, the dominance of consumers are looking for flybarless for their ease of setup. So yes, I'd say that our progression is purely fiberless, but that's not to say that we won't still have that within our 450 line of helicopters. But yes, for basically all our other models will be flybarless in the future.
Cool. And this which brings us neatly on to
Fix my sign.
does a line have any plans to bring out a HPS style rotor head on their helicopters? I'm using the KDE SXTS rotor on my T-Rex 700E HV, and it's much more precise and constant even, as a DFC head.
As far as appeasing our consumers, we do have some things in the work. We are discussing, much like what our EFL head was like, to offer those type of models. So in the future, we may have various segments to cover, entry level, let's say our mid level, and then our pro type pilots. So we will have something to I guess bridge that gap. But I'm not saying that we're ruling out the basically a swash faller type mechanism. It's just not available in our current lineup at this time.
Yeah, I know from personal experience that there are, from an engineering standpoint, from an engineering purist standpoint, the DFC style is kind of it's seen as a bit of sacrilege, shall we say? And I for one would certainly welcome the more traditional style head with the followers. It just makes more sense mechanically.
I do have to comment though, the DFC head, the model as a whole, the T-Rex 700E DFC is the strongest model that I've ever flown. I've never had a failure with the DFC head, contrary to what some people might think.
It's not so much I don't think it's so much the durability of it. It's more to do with the sort of dampening. If the damping's not top notch, then it's going to put more load on the ball links down below, and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's true.
As far as I'm concerned, if it works for Jamie, it can work for anyone.
This is I'm going to open this up to everybody. From Paul Williams. In light of the tragedy with Roman last September, how do you think this has affected the hobby? Let's start.
Very, very good question.
Let's start with Connor on this one.
Well, it's a tricky question. I think it makes people realise how deadly these machines actually are, and not to fly very close to yourselves.
It's definitely. I'm certainly flying a lot, sort of a good few feet further away from myself than I used to. But then I'm 5 years older than I was when the last time I flew properly. So there is a bit of an old age going on there. But yeah, it's. I'm certainly flying further away. Jeff, what do you, from your perspective, it must be a bit more worrying having a team of pilots under yourself, watching these guys fly the way they do and pushing the limits.
Well, Jeff was actually, for just jumping there before Jeff answers that, Jeff Roman Profsky, he was a good friend of yours, wasn't he?
Yes, Roman was one of our team pilots, and the tragic event that took his life was with a helicopter, and that tragedy transcends all modelers. You need to be self-aware of the machine and its capability, and you need to be aware of your ability. And having said that, I know that there's lots of times you see guys at fun flies and things like that come close. They get away with it. and people need to, be aware of their abilities and fly within those abilities, because a lot of times you're at events and they'll see guys like Bert, or they'll see guys like Kyle, or they'll see Jamie, and they'll see these guys flying, doing these depth-defying maneuvers with their helicopters that seem so fun and exciting, but yet, they've put a lot of time and effort practicing these maneuvers before they go out and try and fly them in front of all these people. And I suggest people just, practice the maneuver, break it down, and don't try and rush it. I mean, if you're going to practice, like most people know, you should get it out away from you. Give yourself a little bit of a buffer, if you will. So if you do dump them, you can put it in the ground and not have to worry about throwing it over your back or something on the flight line. So, for us, it's still about, it's with us today. I mean, we haven't forgotten about Roman, and again, the loss of our fellow team member.
If I may just sort of put a quick one in here. Obviously, Jamie's just his laptop is shutting down. He's coming back. He's just sent me a message on Facebook. What I'd like to say about the terrible, tragic incident with Roman Perovsky. I mean, he's only, 18, 19 years old, so stolen from us in his prime. But motorsport is dangerous, and that's the risk these guys take. It crystallizes in people's minds, as Jeff and Connor has said, that it is a dangerous sport, and you've got to be brutally aware. But I think if we try and kind of glean any sort of positive from a negative, I think it's really brought the helicopter community together and to focus on the challenges around safety and make us more aware of sticking to the rules in terms of flight line, in terms of safety lines. The guys in France, they actually put these scaffolding poles and they've concreted it into the ground, and they actually fly in between these scaffolding poles. So if a helicopter kind of comes towards them, that takes the brunt. I think it takes stuff like this to really kind of focus people's attention, but also it demonstrates that this is a global family community, and I was so overwhelmed with the amount of love and support for Roman and his family, and for Dino and all the guys and you guys. Did you feel that love, Jeff?
Yes, I mean, the heli community as a whole was very supportive. They recognized that it was a tremendous loss of this young man and his life with the helicopter. We all love to do this as a hobby, and when we see and feel someone lose their life to something we love doing and take for granted, we take for granted that it is very dangerous, but at the end of the day, a lot of people did come out, and sent their warm felt prayers and things of this nature to help soothe the pain. Without that, it'd kind of be a real empty feeling. But I'm sure the family appreciated it. I had the opportunity to be there at Roman's funeral with his family, and I know that the family was very supportive of the hobby. The father is still to this day the vice president of that club where his son flew. And it's something that's been with him forever, and will be with him forever.
Yeah. We all went out in mourning globally, and I can say that for everyone in the UK and Europe, we all felt the pain. But also, Roman was flying obviously in a line, but it wasn't a mechanical failure. It was just pilot error, and it just happens. But there was another guy, of course, in Switzerland who was, I think it was in Switzerland. He was flying a Gary helicopter, and he was flying alone, which we should never do, should we? And he got struck by his helicopter and was found the following day. So it just crystallizes that it is dangerous. Anyway, please fly safe out there, guys. It's for everybody's benefit. Let's have a chat with Kev, please.
Yeah, moving on from that now, obviously terrible tragedy, but we'll move on. Move on to the future. We'll get on. I think it's fair to say that Align is probably the biggest innovator in RC helis. They've brought it on to the masses. It was the inception of the T-Rex 450, the inception of the T-Rex 600, that really brought RC helis to the masses. Now, with Align being such big innovators, Jeff, what have Align got in the pipeline? What little tidbits can you share with us that Align are bringing out in the near future? What's going to tempt me from SAB Goblins to buying Align?
Well, with the Align product, as you mentioned about some of the other brands, is that we're constantly innovating our product, but not just from the pure standpoint of the mechanics itself. We're constantly innovating on the electronic side with servos and servo technology. You can ask Jamie himself. I mean, he's using our servos to compete with. This is box stock, what you get within your box when you buy a kit. Our motors, such as the Dominator, are some of the most powerful motors out there for competition. He runs the 490 kV. It's a phenomenal motor. We run the Castle controllers on competition. Yes, we run 160s. And we need it because we're pushing the machine to its limits. And so when you're looking at our helicopter, if you will, you're looking at a whole package, the total package, if you will. And so if you're on a budget, if you will, rather than putting out $2,500 or $3,000 to some of our competitors' machines, you can look at something like our newest 700L Dominator, which retails for $699 US, which as well as I do on the street, that's going to be far less. So for your money and from a value standpoint, I think you'll be hard-pressed to find a model that offers the electronics, the motor, and fly-barless system, for that matter, at this point in time, that will rival the Align product. I think we have a very comprehensive package for all modelers, and I hope that we can attract even more modelers to step up into the 700 size and try out Align's products.
I think it's fair to say Align have been the trailblazer from the early beginnings, and they have been the trendsetter, haven't they?
Yes, Align from inception with the 450, as you mentioned, has been the pinnacle of taking the market by storm. When that first 450 entered the market, I've never seen a push or a wave so fast. I know I was very fond of the product when I first saw it. When actually I met Alex and Wendy again in Taiwan. They let me hold their model and share it with my peers at the time, and I was blown away. I knew that it was going to be something that was going to be well sought after. I knew it was something that we should partake in, but just like in any market, sometimes you miss that wave, and Align has continued to build those waves and again set the trend for the market in helicopters.
Very well put. Very well, but no. To be fair, it's true. Align are. If you look at the global circuit for helicopters in terms of the professionals, out of the top sort of 10 pilots in competitions across the globe, a large percentage are flying Align. So what does that tell you? And these are stock machines, aren't they? I mean, going back years ago, Jeff, as you know, a lot of the competition pilots had their stock machines, but then they used to sort of tweak it, putting this, that, and the other on it. But all of the machines now are completely stock. So the machine that basically the machine that Jamie flies, you can go and buy that. You could go and buy that at a shop tomorrow.
That's correct. You can ask Jamie himself. As he mentioned to you, he is using the V-bar system for his flybar control. But his other electronics, or Align electronics, he uses our blades, our tail blades. I mean, just everything. Everything's in the box. And so, if anybody wants to, pull their machine out and let him ring it out for him, Jamie would be more than happy to do that and show you that he can do the same thing with any Align box stock machine out there.
Well, Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, mate. But there you go. We could talk for hours on end, but it's now coming up to 11 o'clock. We've done 2 hours. We thought we were only going to do an hour and a half. I think we got to one sort of thing that needs to be discussed by Adrian. Are you there?
Yeah, there was a couple of things actually. Firstly, there was a question about is the 600 Pro going to get the speed canopy?
As far as that particular model, I'm not sure just yet. There's some things in the pipeline that I can't discuss because there are some newer products coming up very shortly. So we have some new updates to our product line that you'll see. So we might have to hold off on a canopy for just a little bit, just until those other products come to bear.
I want to ask one question about the new quad. Yeah, the new Align quad. When is that going to be released?
We're still doing some testing. I know Alan, when he was there, he and I were discussing some of the testing that was going on. So there's still some things we're working out, both mechanics and electronics. But once we resolve those issues, you'll see that product very shortly. But we want to make sure that when we release, it's a sound product and one that will make our consumers very happy.
I like the retracting undercarriage. That's quite a nice little touch, isn't it? We're going to have a final word with Connor. Let's just go back to Connor Sloan, please, before we wrap things up. Connor, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you kind of had an insight into to Jeff and to Jamie. Maybe this is the first time you've kind of spoken with Jamie in this amount of length, I guess. Or do you guys hang out when you go international?
Wow. Well, I've only been international once, but yeah, we get on. Well, during competition time, no, Jamie's usually focused in the zone, but after the competition, we usually have a laugh. The same with Jeff at the Align Fun Fly. It was really good. And yeah, I've loved the show.
I'd love to do that myself. There was talk of it last year with Wendy and I, but it didn't kind of happen. But maybe we'll in the future. So Connor, I mean, I think, guys, are we going to wrap it up? I think we're getting to 2 hours now. I think probably the people at home might be wanting to go to bed or go to work or wherever they are in the world. Connor, listen, from the Rotors team, we wish you the very, very best for the forthcoming future and your career, mate. You've got a great career ahead of you. Just keep your head, keep focused. Take a few leaves out of the book from Alan and Jamie. We're very proud of you in the UK, my friend, and may the gods shine on you favourably in your career with Align. Thank you very much indeed. We've got any more questions from Kev before we wrap up, or are you okay to do the wrap up right now?
I think it's time to wrap up now.
It is getting close, isn't it? So yeah, fantastic. So again, Jeff, again, you're a great personality, a great ambassador for Align, and you fit that team perfectly. It's been a pleasure having you on. I know you're a very busy man, hard to try and sort of tie you down. You were delayed in the airport yesterday, and you've got a mountain of stuff to kind of deal with on your desk when you got back to work today, and you've chose to come on the show above all else. So thank you, Jeff. God bless you, my friend. Have you enjoyed the show? Have you enjoyed being with us?
It's been a great experience, Nick. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate you offering us to come on your show. I like that. Thank you.
Anytime at all, Jeff, anytime. And of course, when we've got new products coming out for Align, we're going to be doing, as we've already done with Bobby Watts about the Invertix. We do a 20-minute bite size, which has gone down really well. We've got a lot of views for that because it's easy and people can just watch it at their leisure. So we'll have you back, Jeff, when you give us some more scoops about new Align products. So Jeff Fassbinder, the team manager and principal of and the marketing manager at Align USA, thank you very much indeed, sir. And lastly, but not least, Jamie Robertson. Again, it's a real pleasure for you to come on the show, mate, and thank you very much indeed for taking the time. From a commentator perspective, you're a great guy too, and a great pilot to work with and to commentate on. So from myself, thank you very much, my friend. We'll see you very shortly. I think Adrian's got something to say finally. Yeah, final words. We have got some rather interesting news that came in during the show. On the next show, we are going to have Matt Botos of Synergy. Fantastic. And we also have some people lined up for some more bite sizes, but I'm not going to tell you who they are quite yet. But we're going to go a little bit more on general information. Well, not for specific information. Things like the sort of information that you gain after a couple of years worth of flying that nobody ever seemed to tell you when you're a noob. So if you're new to the sport, it definitely will be worth listening into these bite sizes. There's lots of new information coming along. Good stuff. We'll give you more information about those and when they're coming up. We'll do some trailers and some teaser trailers. That'll be released soon. So again, for myself, Kev, Jamie, has it been good? Have you enjoyed coming on the show, buddy? From Oklahoma.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on, and hopefully I'll be able to come on again sometime in the future.
Hey, no problem. Yeah, you're more than welcome. It'd be our pleasure anytime, my friend. So
we'll see you in a few weeks, Masters.
Yes, indeed, Heli Masters, the World Championship, the first week of July will be there. And also, if you want to check out the live stream, go to rcmedian.com. We'll pick up the live stream from helimasters.com. So, yeah, so that's it. We're going to wrap up now. That is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you've been watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Rotors, the RC Helicopter Show. My name is Nick Johnson, and from Kevin, from Aid, and myself, Nick, thank you very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you lot soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Good night.
See you guys.
Good night, guys. Have fun.